Hai teman-teman, balik lagi dengan Nian di sini. Sekarang kita akan melanjutkan game Tangle Tower. Nah, di video sebelumnya kita udah banyak menemukan revelation penting ya. Kayak dimana buku diary yang kita dapatkan di kamarnya Vivi itu sebenarnya adalah buku diary Freya, dimana isinya tuh bertuliskan tulisan-tulisan aneh, bukan aneh tapi tulisan dengan maksud yang aneh yang masih kita nggak mengerti, dan juga dimana lukisan yang Freya buat itu ternyata bukan Flora yang memegang pisau berlumuran darah, tetapi adalah Flora yang memegang bulu burung, dimana burung tersebut adalah putih dengan corak warna merah di ujung bulunya seperti itu. Dan sekarang kita akan melanjutkan kembali ya cerita Tangle Tower kali ini. Nah, sebelum aku mulai, jangan lupa untuk like, subscribe, share video aku dan channel aku ya. Dan ayo kita pecahkan misteri di Tangle Tower ini. Nah, sekarang kita akan kembali lagi ya ke Seven pertama, karena Seven pertama sudah aku dapatkan lah intinya. Dan sama seperti yang kemarin aku bilang, aku akan ke sini. Ya, kita akan berbicara dengan detektif Hawksaw. Oke, mari kita pencet. Kita sebelumnya sudah pencet gak ya? Udah kan? Ya udahlah, gampang lah.
Wow, nice cape.
You're not fellows or pointers. I'm sure I shall immediately regret asking. But who are you, and what is your business here?
I'm Sally, and this is my sidekick Grimoire.
A private detective, Grimoire.
Really? You're a detective. If this is a joke, it's not a good one.
Who are you, anyway?
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
Private detective juga.
Hawkshaw's a cooler name than Grimoire. Maybe I'll become her sidekick.
You're not on the Freya fellow case, too, are you?
That is classified information between myself and my client. Clearly, this is something which eludes you. But a real detective refrains from handing out informations to persons unknown.
Oh, right.
Now, if you would, I have work to do.
Dia lebih seperti terlihat lebih bisa diandalkan daripada Grimoire. Tapi cakep banget. Suaranya aku suka banget, maksudnya teman-teman, suaranya bagus. Oke, ayo kita tanya-tanya tentang detektif Hawksaw.
It's not in my interest to discuss personal details.
Even if you're one of the suspects in a murder?
Very well. Let us make a small exception.
Dia cukup
Ask.
Oh, what are you doing here?
I'm on a case at the behest of my client.
How long have you been at Tangle
Cukup
Tower?
kerja sama teman-teman.
133 hours.
Dia
5.5 days.
baru aja
Who are you
datang
working for?
5 hari yang lalu.
I am not at liberty to answer that. Now, I shall permit you one more question.
Waduh, kita
What
coba boleh nanya
crime
satu
are
kali
How'd you
lagi.
get that scar? It's cool.
You really think so?
Sally muji bekas luka, dan dia kayak seneng gitu dengar itu.
As it happens, I completed an examination of Flora's room on the morning before the murder. I've been investigating every single room at Tangle Tower. Hers was one of the last on my list.
Did you find anything unusual?
Nothing but a thin layer of dust and an atmosphere of somber melancholy.
Was Flora in there at the time?
She spent the duration of my search staring up at the sky, out the open window. Didn't say a word, although I'm told this is the expected behavior.
What did you do after that?
I spent the early evening searching the library. It took longer than it should have. Fiona leaves that room in a permanent state of disarray.
Fiona was in the library too?
I expected her to make an appearance, but she did not.
And you stayed in the library the rest of the day?
Not quite.
Oke, jadi tadi itu kalau nggak salah dengar ya, coba aku ulang lagi teman-teman. Kalau nggak salah dengar, setelah dia dari tempat Flora, dia tuh ke library, dan di sana dia pikir bisa ketemu Vivi, tapi ternyata enggak. Apa aku yang tadi salah lihat ya? Bentar, aku baca ulang. Bentar ya, nanti aku skip aja ini. Oke, aku balik lagi teman-teman. Jadi tadi pas aku baca, jadi setelah kemarin, setelah dari tempatnya Flora, dia pergi ke library, Dan katanya library itu berantakan setelah Fiona meninggalkan tempat tersebut gitu. Kayaknya itu yang pas Fiona marah gara-gara itu loh, Poppy gak mengingkari janjinya. Mungkin. Oke, kita akan coba lihat statementnya dia.
Towards the early evening, my examination of the library was unexpectedly disrupted. Sounds of running, wailing, shouting from several floors above. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared. He emerged from the Pointer staircase.
Oh ya, oke. Ya, benar-benar. Kemarin
And
kayak gitu juga.
begun up the fellow staircase. Our eyes met. He was breathless. Something had caused him great alarm. He told me to stay out of the way. I consented. I decided to return to my office in the stone square. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. She was clutching the banister of the Pointer staircase with an apprehensive manner. She wished to know where Professor Pointer had gone. I told her what had transpired. Then, she too crossed the hall and disappeared up the fellow staircase. More so than at any moment prior, I felt like quite an intruder in the house. I took my leave, out towards the stone square. The grounds were silent. There were no signs of human life. Even the greenhouse was without its typical inhabitant. I noted that he, too, must be entangled in whatever was transpiring in Fellow Tower. An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance. He spoke to me of what had occurred. His report was as clumsy and cumbersome as the man giving it.
Did he seem upset?
He was rattled. That much was clear. But sorrowful, mournful, I cannot say.
Oke, sama seperti yang kemarin dibilangin Profesor Pointer dan Penelope Pointer ya, mereka bertemu dengan Detektif Hawksaw. Tapi Detektif Hawksaw tuh bilang kalau Profesor Pointer ini kayak lari dari Pointer Tower tuh kayak terengah-engah gitu, terburu-buru. Padahal kan cuma mau ngambil buku dari Vivi ya. Kok sampai terburu-buru kayak gitu? Kita nggak bisa menebak-nebak, nggak bisa mengira-ngira. Oke, sekarang kita akan tanyakan tentang semua orang di
Quite
sini.
the stoic statue, isn't she? I can only dream of being as cold and indifferent as Flora Fellow.
You think she's hiding something?
Perhaps. She has some strange habits. I heard she barely sleeps, an hour here or there, sporadically. Spends the rest of her time staring up at the sky.
Oke, sifatnya Flora yang pendiam itu juga ditunjukkan ya ke Detektif Hawksaw.
Did you get anything useful out of him?
Not sure. What about you?
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. But talking with him is so tedious.
Aduh, aku suka banget sama karakter Hawksaw, kayak cool gimana gitu loh. Aduh.
Considerably intelligent, and her powers of observation are enviable. But she has no ambition, no focus.
In her defense, she's still a teenager.
Barely.
Katanya Vivi nggak punya ambition, padahal kayak kalau kita lihat kemarin tuh Vivi kayak ngomong tentang microbiologisnya tuh kayak kuat banget gitu, panjang banget.
314 cases solved.
314 case di-solve sama dia. Wow.
Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, detective.
Oke, jadi katanya si Hawksaw ini, Freya ini tuh intelijennya super menarik buat dia, karena dalam sehari Freya ini bisa tahu Hawksaw itu kenapa dia datang ke Tangle Tower, apa tujuannya, dan dia bekerja untuk siapa. Wow, gak nyangka Freya sepintar itu, teman-teman.
Poppy has remarkable musical talent. She could be famous, wealthy even, if she wanted to.
She'd probably have to leave Tangle Tower first.
Quite. I I find her rather embarrassing, little more than a spoiled child.
Penny must be at least 25.
27. Just makes it worse.
Oke, jadi kita udah tahu Penny itu 27 dan detektif Hoxo gak terlalu suka ya dengan Penny. Kayak dia nih terlalu bukan anak ya, orang dewasa yang terlalu dimanjakan, katanya seperti itu.
Professor Pointer is a respectable astronomer. Keeps himself to himself. What?
We're just surprised.
That was the most polite you've been about anyone.
Oke, kita akan tanyakan semua ini.
Tangle Tower. No idea why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that. I was disappointed too.
Kayaknya dia masih belum tahu kalau apa ya, sepertinya tuh yang tinggal Tangle Tower nih nggak seordinary yang dia bilang gitu. Lihatin banyak misterinya gitu masalah kita temukan.
You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint. Have you deciphered the meaning of those 4 symbols on the harp?
We're working on it.
That's a no then. Where'd you dig that up?
It
Dia
wasn't
nggak
buried.
menemukan
It
ya.
was underwater.
Someone trying to conceal evidence, perhaps?
Kok bisa seorang detektif tuh nggak ngelihat bukti seperti ini? Gitu.
Conveniently left anonymous. It's useless until you can prove to whom it concerns. Can you do that?
No?
No.
Dari semua karakter, aku senang sih ngomong dengan detektif Hoxo. Dia kayak intelijen dan ya pintar gitu loh, enak diajak bicara.
Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora wielding a knife.
Ya nggak tahu.
You didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been brought into the room from outside. Unless, of course, it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe in that kind of thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of thinking.
Kok dia malah memikirkan apa yang sama dipikirkan dengan Grimoire gitu.
A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
Ditanya dia suka dengan musik apa,
I
dia bilang
believe that was
semuanya
in
suka.
Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it last.
Dia bilang terakhir kali dia nemu ini di kamarnya Flora dan nggak rusak katanya.
You got it open. I'm impressed.
Ya dong.
I managed it myself yesterday.
Oh,
I
dia
thought
juga
Flora
ternyata.
might be hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too.
Ya nggak
It
tahu.
was. Perhaps it's always been empty.
Tapi kita bisa tahu ya kalau bulu yang dipegang sama Flora itu kemarin juga nggak ada.
The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told? A book from the library. One of hundreds, no doubt. What makes this one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that. I admit, it's powerful. Freya was a talented young woman.
Oh,
Someone
bahkan
even
dipuji
went
sama
enough to take
detektif
a photo.
Hoxo gitu.
Now, we don't know why they took the photograph, do we? Perhaps they just wanted it for reference. A photograph of Freya could be important.
When did Freya draw the picture of you, Hawkshaw?
I didn't model for her, if that's what you're asking. She must have done it without my permission.
Could just be from memory. It's not quite as detailed as the others anyway.
A diary? Have you read it?
Not yet. It's locked.
And you haven't attempted to force it open?
That would be
Padahal
cheating.
sudah loh teman-teman, kita sudah buka. Tapi kayaknya nggak untuk kalau kita nanya ke Hoxo tuh terlihat belum terbuka gitu.
I'd tell him not to quit his day job. But he hasn't got one, has he? Some breed of amphibious humanoid, potentially bipedal, although none of the statues show the creature's feet.
I guess we'll never know.
Mukanya Grimoire.
3 birds, 1 cage. What makes them worth keeping cooped up, I wonder? Would they not be happier flying free?
But then they might fly away from Tangle Tower entirely.
I wonder if they would.
Kalau aku lihat, kalau aku pikir-pikir ini kayak penggambaran Fiona, Freya sama Poppy ya teman-temannya. Menurut aku, cuman ya nantilah.
And you consider that important evidence, do you? These people really are ridiculous, aren't they? Who's that?
Not sure. It doesn't really look like anyone we've met so far.
Strange.
Itu kan kalau kayaknya untuk pertanyaan-pertanyaan ini, karakter ini, kalau kita tanya ke Detective Hofso tuh akan terlihat seperti kita belum menanyakan ke teman-teman ini ya, ke para suspek-suspek kita gitu.
Is that a clue?
Dunno. It was important enough to be framed, though.
I framed my law degree, doesn't make it a clue.
Oh, dia punya law degree.
Yeah?
Apakah Grimoire punya? Dia kayak menjawabnya, sama. Iya, kayak terbata-bata.
Where did you find this?
Do you have any theories about where this might have been?
Or who might have had it.
I have several theories, but they are my theories, and I'm not going to share them.
Meskipun dia detektif yang hebat, tapi dia nggak mau nge-share clue-clue yang ada katanya.
This belongs to you, Hakshaw?
Correct.
And, what is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up-close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you looking for?
That is between myself and my client.
Penasaran siapa sih kliennya?
These figurines remind me of a case I once solved involving a possessed doll. Turned out to be a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimoire, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we not having a fun adventure right at this very moment?
Kelly kayak nanya, kenapa kita gak punya adventure yang menyenangkan gitu?
Does Flora still own that bird?
Andi juga gak tahu.
Don't think so.
Hebatan
The
kita
drawings are
berarti.
from a few years ago.
I see.
Oke, sudah nggak ada lagi ya teman-teman clue-cluenya. Dan ayo kita keluar. Dan kita nggak ada apa-apa lagi. Jadi kita cuma bisa kesini. Let's go. Greenhouse. Kaget. Astaga teman-teman. Serem banget. Dia bersembunyi menyatu dengan alam.
That's a handsome beetle. Looks like he might have magic powers.
Beetle-nya lucu banget nih.
Hanging baskets.
To you, maybe.
You're only 2 inches taller than me.
2 inches makes all the difference.
Aduh, takut banget matanya
A
serem
little chart
teman-teman.
of... Actually, I have no idea what it's about.
Apa ini?
Kinda reminds me of a periodic table.
Apa ini? Nggak bisa diambil.
Greek letters, I think. Greek letters.
Kinda reminds me of a periodic table.
1, 2, 3.
Greek letters.
Kita kayak nggak tahu ini apa, tapi kita bisa lihat ya. Mungkin
What do you
penting
make of
nanti.
it?
Not a whole lot.
Sumpah serem banget sih teman-teman.
This one's in a little pot.
Okay, that is definitely not edible.
It looks like a gemstone, don't you think?
Ini buah di pot, tapi kulitnya tuh kayak apa, batu berlian gitu katanya teman-teman, batu berharga. Dan tanahnya katanya warna biru. Oke, kira desainnya aja, ternyata memang lagi warna biru gitu. Oke.
Tools used by a gardener for gardening.
Ya tahu itu buat
Bags of
gardening.
soil.
It's so blue. It's bigger in here than It's but I can't.
Total oxy.
I am not.
Hanging baskets.
To you, maybe.
You're only 2
2 inches makes all the difference. Is that fruit?
too shiny to be fruit. I think it's glowing a little too.
Safe to eat, do you think?
I'm gonna say no.
Iya, menurut aku ini glowing loh. Ini juga glowing nih teman-teman. Ya, kita Ya kan? Serem banget
Hanging
teman-teman.
baskets.
To you,
You're only 2.
2 inches makes all the difference.
Oke, kita akan tanya dia. Nanti dulu deh, takut.
Tools used by gardening.
Oke.
Sally, don't move. We're
Tiba-tiba
being
terang, teman-teman.
watched.
Yeah, I see him.
Astaga,
He's a little too big to hide in the
agak
bushes.
mengerikan. Dan pendiam.
Is anyone going to say anything?
Kayak Flora.
Or shall we just stand around staring at each other?
Right, sorry.
Sorry.
That's better. I'm Sally. And the guy hiding behind me is Detective Grimoire. Who are you?
Fitzfellow, the gardener.
Mm-hmm. And why are you so tall?
I don't know.
Pertanyaannya Sally, kenapa kamu tinggi banget gitu? Ya, dia nggak tahu. Dan sumpah tadi pas matanya bersinar terang tadi, serem banget teman-teman.
You work here as the gardener.
I don't get paid to do it. It's just my area of interest.
What's the deal with the plants? They're all kinda weird.
Iya
Right.
benar.
Did you see the lake?
That giant green and purple lake surrounding the entire house? Yeah, I clocked it.
The color is just a byproduct.
Of what? Poison?
It's not poisonous, not to you.
What's this got to do with the plants?
The water controls all life, just like anywhere else on the planet. Clouds form, rain falls. The water grows the plants, animals eat the plants. Anything you've perceived as an irregularity is simply a result of this hydrological cycle.
Could you say that again, but like condense it as if you were talking to a slightly stupid person?
Our lake water causes the unpredictable alteration of DNA. Sometimes.
Alteration? Like mutation?
That'd be the official term. For us, it's normal. Just nature.
And you're the local expert on all this stuff?
No. I'm just the gardener.
Dia bilang, kalian ingat di episode video pertama kali kita pas datang, itu lake waternya warnanya biru hijau ya kalau nggak salah, atau ungu hijau gitu. Katanya itu spesial gitu, dan kayak mungkin punya micro nggak tahu sebutannya apa gitu ya. Katanya bisa nge-alteration segala makhluk hidup yang tinggal di tower ini sekitar danau itu. Wow, apa yang ada di dalam danau itu?
I was in my greenhouse, watering and weeding.
Sounds exciting.
Was anyone else
Dia yang pertama
around?
kali ketemu kalau
Not
nggak
at
salah si
first.
Fitz ini.
Penelope came in a little later. She likes looking at the flowers, I think.
Did you speak to each other?
A little, not too much. We both left the greenhouse in the early
Padahal
afternoon.
Penelope kesini gara-gara
I went up to
pengen
my
bicara
room.
sama Fitz.
Then I came back outside to weed the main gardens. Didn't see anyone else. After that, I went up to the garden outside my room.
And?
Let me guess. Watering and weeding.
Right.
Did anything happen to you yesterday, Fitz?
Oke, kita akan dengar statementnya.
I was up in the rooftop garden. It was quiet. And then, it wasn't. I can't describe it. Could have been a scream, but it didn't sound human. We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
We?
Poppy was with me. Did I not mention that? Flora's room was locked. That's normal. She usually locks it from the inside. I knocked on the door and shouted. Nobody responded. We became concerned.
You kicked the door down?
I did. Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back. Flora was there too, but I barely noticed her at first. Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too. Penelope arrived shortly after that, with Felix in tow. I thought that was odd. You don't normally see the two of them together. Felix took charge. There was nothing else I could do to help. I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything. I found her pacing back and forth around the stone square. When I approached her, she snapped at me. I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
Oke. Kenapa dia nggak beritahu kalau dia sama Poppy sebelumnya? Kalau nggak salah Poppy ke garden karena apa ya? Rada lupa aku teman-teman. Nanti coba aku ingat-ingat kembali ya. Kita akan coba tanya-tanya tentang orang-orang di sini.
I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any additional suffering for anyone.
Dia suka Flora katanya. Mungkin karena sifatnya hampir-hampir mirip ya.
Felix is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism, money, property. But his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
I was just about to say the same thing.
Fifi doesn't like me.
What did you do?
I'm not sure. If you find out, maybe you can let me know.
Vivi nggak suka sama Fitz. Kenapa? Nanti kita akan coba tanya ke Vivi ya.
She questioned me,
About what?
my work, the plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell.
Kenapa detektif Hoxha gak memeriksa greenhouse? Padahal tadi dia katanya, pas kita tanya ya, kamu ada ketemu secret room gak di sini? Enggak, aku udah ngecek semuanya katanya. Tapi greenhouse belum.
She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working, sometimes by herself, sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them. Freya brought me this little glass box, leaves and twigs inside. She'd say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her, but she was always kind.
Oke, jadi yang sering ke greenhouse itu Poppy dan Freya. Poppy ingin belajar tentang bunga. Kemarin ada nggak ya dijelaskan? Gak ingat ya. Dan Freya itu bertanya tentang serangga. Wow. Apa ada hubungan sama ini ya? Nantilah ya, kita coba tanya.
Have you met this guy, Fitz? Shifty eyes, doesn't say a lot. Totally suspicious, if you ask me.
That's me.
Yeah,
Kasian banget Fitz.
it was a joke. I was joking.
Oh, I see.
Dia rada lucu ya.
I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing in the greenhouse. Asks me about the birds, too, and insects. He's pretty clued up on his evolutionary biology.
I didn't think there was much overlap between astronomy and biology.
Pointer bertanya-tanya tentang serangga juga teman-teman. Dan kalian tahu research tentang serangga yang kita dapatkan tuh di Profesor Pointer Tower gitu. Kamarnya. Kenapa kan nggak ada hubungannya gitu astronomi dan biologi.
Penelope is my fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think she's, well, they make assumptions.
And how's the relationship doing recently?
Good. It's good.
Padahal dia bilang dia nggak terlalu banyak bicara dengan Penelope.
Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong?
Unusual flower? Apakah ini? Tapi ini kita temukan di kamarnya Penny. Oke, sekarang kita akan tanya-tanya tentang clue kita ya.
Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed estimation.
Ini adalah, kita kan dari awal sudah dapat ini ya, dan ternyata ini adalah Tangle Tower yang dilukis oleh Freya katanya. Dan katanya Fitz tadi itu dia nggak pernah ngelihat Tangle Tower dalam angle ini. Sepertinya nanti akan kita zoom ya itu ya.
Who gave you that information?
Well...
We don't actually know who it was. We were contacted anonymously.
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I never thought about that.
Honestly, that would be kind of fun. Like a twist, you know?
Akhirnya kita tahu siapa yang ngirim kita case file. Orang gak dikenal. Kalau Hoxo kan dia disewa oleh orang-orang di Tangle Tower ini kan, salah satu yang tinggal di Tangle Tower ini. Sedangkan kita dikirimin case file ini oleh orang yang gak dikenal. Wow. Oke, lanjut.
It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about it once.
What were they saying?
They were arguing about something, but I can't remember the details.
Poppy lagi. Wow.
That looks like it might belong to Poppy.
Ya, benar-benar.
How odd.
What do you think that is in Flora's hand?
I don't know. It does look like a knife, but Flora wasn't holding anything at all when I saw her after the murder. But there's something bothering me. Something else.
What?
When we went into Flora's room, she wasn't standing in this position.
Well, she probably would have moved around a little bit by then.
She wasn't standing at all. She was kneeling on the floor.
Katanya dia duduk di lantai katanya. Bukan berdiri. Ini kan gambarnya dia kayak berdiri ya. Why?
That belongs to Poppy.
So why is it up in Flora's tower?
I'm not sure. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but we opened it, but it was empty.
Fun story.
Oke, dari semua karakter aku suka Hoxo karena dia kayak intelijen gitu. Terus si Fitz karena dia bicaranya tuh yang penting aja gitu, kayak gak terlalu panjang lebar kayak Vivi, Felix, Penny, panjang lebar gitu kan. Terus kayak Flora itu gak ngomong sama sekali gitu. Fitz itu kayak dia jelasin tapi gampang dimengerti gitu. Wah. bagus. Ini yang kayak gini, yang suspek kayak gini nih, gampang kita tanya-tanyain.
There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly.
Kita disuruh ke Flora Tower lagi. Baiklah.
Penelope knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see? Do you have any? In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore. I've tried in the past. It's incredibly difficult, even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks.
Kita nanti harus cari tanaman ini kayaknya teman-teman. Baiklah.
Freya's best work, in my opinion. Although
Nightmare
the photo
dibilang
doesn't carry the
best
same
work.
energy as the real thing.
What do you think it's a painting of?
What do you mean?
Like, what's the subject matter? What's that big red thing?
Oh, I don't think it's that kind of painting. It's Fifi and Freya.
Don't you think Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe, maybe not. She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo, then it'd be 3.
Checkmate.
Katanya Poppy kenapa nggak di foto ini katanya. Ya Poppy bukan orang yang suka berada di keramaian gitu. Tapi kan cuma ada 2 orang. Masa 2 orang dibilang keramaian? Tapi kalau Poppy ada di sana jadi 3 orang keramaian dong gitu katanya gitu. Lucu banget Fitz.
Fitz, one of these drawings is of you in the rooftop garden, I think, with Poppy.
Are we done?
Ada satu ini ya, di gambarnya Fitz dan Poppy itu ada bunga warna merah yang dipegang. Di mana ya bunga warna merah itu?
Looks like someone doesn't want you to read that book.
That's the main thing making me want to read it.
Felix made that? Huh. What's with the broken glass? Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they like her pets? Do they have names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember what she named them?
Kita diberitahu
I
juga
do not.
namanya, tapi nggak ingat gitu.
A
Ini.
flower.
Yeah, it's a flower.
Apakah Fitz tahu
We
dia bunga
found
apa?
it in Penny's room.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to.
Padahal aku pikir dia bakal mengenali. Katanya kan di kamar Poppy itu ada bunga yang aneh gitu. Aku pikir ini gitu. Tapi dia kayak nggak mengenali.
Those petals, they,
What?
they're red.
Apakah petas ini ada hubungannya dengan foto yang ini yang dipegang sama Fitz?
Any idea who this is?
No idea.
Bahkan orang-orang nggak kenal dengan bentukan Poppy yang seperti ini.
Poppy's piano music. I remember when she started learning. She's improved a lot since then.
Yeah, that's generally how it works.
Right. Of course. I've seen beetles with brightly colored shells, metallic shells even. They're relatively common, especially around here. There's a difference between that and actual gold.
It can't be actual gold. Gold is just inside the earth or whatever. You can't make it. That's called alchemy. It was a whole thing.
Dia nggak ngerti juga tentang golden beetle ini.
You ever seen this before, Fitz?
No, but I don't normally go into Fifi's room.
That's not where we found it.
Oh, I just thought it looks like it belongs to her.
Iya bener. Kayak apa yang bakal Vivi punya gitu. Padahal ternyata punya detektif Hacksaw.
That's quite sweet, really. Did Freya draw these?
Yeah. There's a note on the back, too.
She was even closer to Flora than I realized. This is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gemstony.
Sometimes. You never really know what's going to happen.
And what do you do with this shiny and edible fruit?
You look at it.
Oke, jadi tanah itu kan warna coklat ya teman-teman. Kalau dicampur dengan air danau yang warnanya hijau, ungu, apalah itu tuh warna itu jadi biru tanahnya. Dan kalau ada tanaman yang tumbuh di tanah tersebut, dia bakal jadi berwarna, jadi shiny gitu. Wow, air danaunya itu sebenarnya apa ya? Dan kita udah menemukan semuanya ya, kita udah nanya-nanya semuanya dan ayo kita keluar.
Fitz's room is unlocked. It's up in the fellow tower.
This could be interesting.
That's all the statements.
Let's go over them all.
Oke, letter dulu ya teman-teman. Ya, dan kita udah bisa ke kamarnya Fitz. Di sini kalau nggak salah garden. Tapi karena udah 40 menit ya teman-teman. Karena sudah 40 menit, jadi untuk Tangle Tower kali ini akan selesai sampai di sini dulu. Jadi kita udah bertemu dengan 2 karakter terakhir kita, yaitu Detektif Hacksaw dan Fitz gitu. Detektif Hacksaw datang ke Tangle Tower ini karena dia dimintai tolong mengerjakan sebuah kasus, dan kita nggak tahu siapakah yang memanggil Detektif Hacksaw ini. Dan juga kita juga udah bertemu dengan Fitz, di mana ya dia sangat bekerja sama dengan kita, dan ya gitulah. Kemudian kita juga udah menemukan semua statement clue-cluenya, dan kita bisa kayak mengambil kesimpulan, tapi itu minggu depan aja ya teman-teman. Dan wow, gak nyangka sepertinya ini sudah mau mendekati akhir ya. Tapi untuk video selanjutnya aku akan selain ke kamarnya Fitz ya, Fitz. Kemungkinan setelah kita kamar Fitz ini akan terbuka. Setelah itu aku gak akan kesini dulu, tapi aku akan menanyakan ke semua karakter-karakter kita tentang statement-statement yang ada ya. Oke, we should talk to Vivi gitu. Yang ini nih. Akan menanyakan semua statement-statement yang ada ke suspek-suspek kita. Dan itu dia teman-teman untuk Tangle Tower kali ini. Semoga kalian menikmatinya dan sampai bertemu lagi di video selanjutnya. Bye bye.